Grand Rising. Been seeing a couple of videos the last couple of days talking about why I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite. So one dude had a video with that. I'll probably put a little picture of that. And then I saw Pastor Al talking about something going on with these, supposed Hebrew Israelites. Hold on. So why I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite. So we got people talking about this and making, some videos talking about the Hebrew Israelites. And I find this kind of funny. Because, see, this is what happens when the other nations set these people up. People were set up before the true awakening was going on. They were part of the partial awakening. They started to realize, we were the people of the book. And, that the Bible is talking about us and the scripture is talking about us. But then these certain groups of Hebrew Israelites just stopped right there. Just stopped as far as like going into other books, going and reading other books, actually going really deep into the Apocrypha, actually reading what's in the Apocrypha and actually applying it, like, 2 Esdras 14, where it talks about in the last days, there's going to be other books released. But see, these people told you pretty much there are no other books. There's only the 66 or 80 books that the Catholics approved, and that's it. So that there alone just separates them from being the remnant within the remnant, because in 2 Esdras 14 it talks about how there's a group of books that's given to everyone, and then after that, just read it for yourself. 2 Esdras 14 around 44 and on, read the rest of the chapter, and it tells you after that there's going to be other books given at the end, right, to the wise, and the wise are going to be the ones that are going to be connected with the Holy Spirit. Now they're no different, like I said, than a church, and I said this for they're called Catholic Hebrews, because look, you guys stopped at 80 books. You don't even go into all 80 books. You damn sure don't go into any other books other than those 80. And then the kicker, the thing to just really just put it over the top, was the fact that you pushed the exact same prophecies that the churches do about Jacob's trouble at the end. So therefore you allow the Edomites and Psalms 83 to ignore what they did to our people. And like, yeah, that was bad, but what's coming in the future is worse. That's what they want to say. And then they always put a black face out there to say the same things that they want to say. They want to tell you that, yeah, we've done these things to you, but it didn't really matter. And that, the Most High is going to, continue to, he's going to rapture us away. And he's going to make you stay here for whatever's going to happen is going to be worse than the last 500 plus years that you've already gone through. And see, so when people are saying like, that's the church setting us up. Setting up these people, these camps, these groups. And then you got to take down one leader, and in order to destroy all the people that were underneath them. This is why I've been telling people for years, you don't allow other people to dictate what you can and cannot read. You trust the Most High and you trust the Holy Spirit. They're the ones that tell you what you can and cannot read, not man. That is putting your faith in man. So it's like you left the church to go back into another church so then an elder or someone above you can dictate what you read. That is not growing. That is not pulling you out. That is not separating you from Psalms 83. The separation came when we didn't care anymore about what camps said, what churches say, right? No, you're not going to just dictate what I read and then I ask you questions and you seem to think that you don't have to answer anything. See, at camps are exactly the same thing. They were like, oh, you think you can think for yourself? Oh, you're out the camp. You're out the group. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what the church is. Oh, well, you're not going to listen to what I said. Then you're going to go to hell because, we're the only people. We're the infallible. Our churches are infallible. Our priests are infallible. The Pope is infallible. And see what that's gotten you now. But see, now all of a sudden they're pushing the whole, well, why I'm no longer a Hebrew Israelite, right? You can't stop being an Israelite, okay? Because that's something that's in your blood. That's something that is in you. Now, you can be stopped from being truly awakened if the Most High hasn't chosen you to be awakened at this time. That is something different. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you haven't been putting to work, and it says study to show thyself approved, it wasn't just study the Bible. See, they're talking about all these people, why I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. Wait a minute. So, let's say that one dude, Gorilla Hebrew, he slipped up, got caught messing up, whatever else. That's enough to destroy your faith? That's enough to destroy your faith because one person fell? You know what? That actually shows then that our people hold our leaders, their perceived leaders, to a high standard. If they're willing to walk away from their faith because one person made a mistake. Christians, Constantine Christians, What's up with you? Your priests were caught raping little boys. How come none of you said, hey, you know what? I don't want to be part of this church anymore. We just paid $750 billion, in payouts because all these priests, were doing all these things. I'm not gonna support this church anymore. Christians, same thing with you. You are under the Christian. You're under Catholicism. You are a Christian. When your pastors get caught messing up, where's your guys' conviction to say, you know what? I don't want to be part of this church anymore. I'm leaving this church because I stand on morals. I stand on something, and I expect my leaders to do the right thing. So I'm going to leave the church. See, you guys don't do that. Why is that? Because you really never had faith in your churches to begin with. Because like it talks about in 1 Nephi 13 and the Book of Mormon, that you only go to church not to learn. You don't go to church to learn anything from your pastors and priests. You give homage and praise to your church for taking down the Israelites and nothing else. And that's exactly what you might say the Book of Mormon is, but that's exactly what you do. You don't learn anything. You've been in church your whole life. You've been heard about scandal after scandal after scandal from your church, but you still go to that church. You still pop them checks. You still, cashing them, you're sending them checks. You're still going there on Christmas Eve, Easter. You're still doing Lent. You're still doing all those things, even knowing that your pastors, many of your priests are raping children. And you still go and you still support that. So see, at least the Israelites have some kind of standards for their leaders, even though they shouldn't be putting man in that kind of position because all men are fallible. And you need to follow the Most High. The Most High is going to put men in there to lead you, but don't make them a god. They make mistakes just like everyone else. But again, see, that just shows you again how much more superior are people, even though they don't have the understanding of the Bible and things like that. They just know instinctively that is something wrong with supporting someone who's saying one thing in public and then in private doing something different, even though it wasn't illegal, even though it's consenting adults, even though he's gonna have to stand in front of the Most High and so is his wife in front of the Most High. But you go to church where a priest is doing illegal sexual activities with little children, and you still support that. But then you seem to think you can come to our channel and tell us about what the Bible says, and the Bible does, that doesn't mean this, and this means this, and you seem to think you guys are going to tell us how to get to heaven. You go and support child molesters. You go and support thieves. You go and support people who have, who are just manipulating you, and you know it because you don't want to do the work. You support them, but then think that you have the right to come to our channel and tell us how to get to heaven. Make it make sense, Most High. Much love, family. Shalom.
All right, shalom. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS. All right, this video is going to be a response to this dude, Big Judah. All right, I think I'll entitle it Response. Big Judah demonizes the camps and says the church set them up. All right, and you saw that portion of the video you saw was from this TikTok video that this guy Big Judah put up. Now, he got a channel on YouTube. This is it right here. And we went back and forth with this dude a lot of years, all right? He's introduced a lot of damnable heresies. One of his main beefs is about these other books. You're always pushing something about some other books. He goes into the Book of Mormon, going off, and we got all over him in the past. And plus, he doesn't have a street ministry, never did, among other things. Now, this video that he put up is entitled Why I'm No Longer a Hebrew Israelite. Well, that group has outlived their usefulness, so Esau'S done. And he maintains, and you heard it in the video, go back and listen. He said that the church set these camps up. Now, he might didn't mean every one, but he's talking about, overall, he's saying that these videos these people are making when they're saying they're no longer a Hebrew Israelite, it's a scheme set up by the church. So he set the camps up so when people fall out of the camps and say they're no longer Israelites, it breaks the faith of those out there. Now, he used an image of this guy Ringo, right? But then he talked about Guerrilla Hebrew. That's two different things. That dude Ringo saying he's no longer Israelite, Ringo wasn't even in no camp. He was like you. He was just another bitch ass nigga who don't go on the highways and hedges and teach, who's afraid of his own shadow. Just like you, Big Judah. Just like you. Now, he said a lot there in a little bit of time. He even said that we use the same prophecies as the church does when we talk about Jacob's trouble. And that way it makes it seem as though they don't have to pay for all the shit that they did to us because we're going to be raptured up anyway. Something to that effect, however he said it. Now, he said a lot of different things in a short amount of time, okay? So I don't want to get it exactly wrong how he said. You go back and listen, but he did mention Jacob's trouble, and he was saying that we use that the church, that way we will say that their punishment is delayed. It won't, but we don't even teach the rapture of number one. Number two, we don't teach the same prophecies as the church. How many churches that prophesied the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great and the so-called white man's downfall? So you don't know what you're talking about. And anyway, he goes on about 2nd Esdras 14 and these other books that's supposed to be released. And you going off. He's saying we don't use the Apocrypha. We don't go deep into it. Well, that's all we use is the Apocrypha. We use the Apocrypha and the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. We use the whole Apocrypha. What are you talking about? And as for other books, how do you know what books we done read and we done studied? You don't know. You have no idea what we read and studied. That's how we know that the Book of Mormon is trash. That's how we know that the current version of the Book of Jasher and the books of Jubilee are forgeries, okay? That Esau put them shits together because they contradict what's in the scriptures, just like the Book of Enoch. Now let's go real quick to 2nd Esdras 14 because he mentioned that, and I want to show you something here. Let's go there. 2nd Esdras 14, what the Lord said these men was gonna write, right? So this is let's first start up here. 2nd Esdras 14 and 20. Behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present, but they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. For thy law is burnt, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or the works that shall begin. But if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I shall write all that have been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, that men may find thy path, and that they which will live in the latter days may live. And he answered me, saying, Go thy way, gather the people together, and say to them that they seek thee not for 40 days. But look, thou prepare thee many box trees, and take with thee Saria, Debria, Selemia, Uranus, and Asiel, these 5 which are ready to write swiftly. Okay, so if they're going to go and they're going to write, right? It says, And come hither, and I shall light a candle of understanding in thine heart, which shall not be put out, till the things be performed which thou shalt begin to write. And when thou hast done, some things shalt thou publish, and some things shalt thou show secretly to the wise. Tomorrow this hour shalt thou begin to write. Okay. Then went I forth as he commanded, and gathered all the people together. Okay, so that's going into what he was telling the people before he departed. Now, this dude goes on about these books that were written in Esdras, and that these leaders and these camps want to tell you what you can read and what you can't read. Well, let me ask you something. Or let me make a statement, rather. This dude going on about these other books. The main book you push is the Book of Mormon. I think I heard this guy talk about the Nag Hammadi in the past, right? The Book of Enoch, the Book of Jasher, and the Book of Jubilees. But he mentioned 2nd Esdras. So you telling me that Esdras was responsible for writing the Nag Hammadi, or the Book of Mormon, or the Keber Negas, the Book of Enoch? I thought Enoch wrote the Book of Enoch, or some, whatever y'all say. Those books that's in Esdras had nothing to do with none of them other books that you endorse. The Book of Mormon didn't come a long way till we was on this side of the world. That false prophet Joseph Smith said that the angel Moroni gave him the Book of Mormon on 2 plates of gold or some shit like that, 2 golden plates. That got nothing to do with Esdras. The Book of Jasher, the books of Jasher and Jubilees, that was probably, now I have to check the facts on this, that was probably written before Esdras' time even was on the scene. What are you talking about? The Book of Enoch got nothing to do with what was written down in Esdras. And we never said that there weren't other writings. We just said that we didn't have all the, some of the other writings, but that they weren't essential for salvation because the Most High gave us what we needed. You mean to tell me now in the middle of the Great Awakening. All of a sudden now we need more books to help us with the Great Awakening, but it's already started. You just want to mention that shit about them other books. It doesn't make any sense. No book that you endorse, no other book that you endorse got anything to do with what's written in Esdras. Because Esdras and those men didn't write all these other books that you're talking about. These bug out books is what we call them. You know, the testimony, the Testament of Solomon and all this other shit. Esdras didn't have nothing to do with the Testament of Solomon or the apocryphal books of Abraham. None of those books are mentioned in 2nd Esdras 14, man. You're going on about 80 books and there's more books won't be written after that. No, it tells you right there. Let's go back to it. When you go down here, 2nd Esdras 14, I'm going to jump in here at verse 37. It says, "So I took the 5 men as he commanded me, and we went into the field and remained there. And the next day, behold, a voice called me, saying, Esdras, open thy mouth, and drink that I give thee to drink. Then opened I my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with fire, but the color of it, Salakia, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. And I took and drank, and when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened my memory, and my mouth was open and shut no more. The highest gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day, and at night they ate bread. As for me, I spake in the day, and held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books. Let's read a little more. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spake, saying, the first thou hast published openly, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. So Esdras dictated and these men wrote. So you telling me that these other bug out books that you talking about and you come up with, Esdras was the one that's responsible for all of them? Because you use 2nd Esdras to talk about the other books. You're out of your mind. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just trying to blame the camps, and it's not the camp's fault. Matter of fact, we're the reason for the Great Awakening. The Most High used leaders. Let's go there real quick. You can see this guy. He ain't got it. You ain't got the Jews, Big Judah. You should change your name to Little Judah. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 1, 36. You know what? Let's jump right here to 37. It says, I take the witness, the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 1. And though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say. And now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that coming from the east, and to whom I will give for leaders. Who are the leaders? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Osseas, which is Hosea, Amos and Micah, Joel, Abdias, which is Obadiah, and Jonas, Nahum and Habakkuk, Sophonius or Zephaniah, Aggeus, Haggai, Zachary, and Malachi, or Zachary and Malachi, which is Zechariah and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord. So the leaders of the people are the prophets, not some nigga that just make videos in his car or just online with no street ministry, trying to get the people to rebel and do whatever they want. You, at the end of the day, we can't tell none of you what you can and cannot read. You can read whatever you want to read. We just tell you, stay away from them other books because they bug out books. You're going to bug out when you read them. A lot of them contradict the scriptures. A lot of them have included science fiction. The Esau been tampered with them other books. And all you need for salvation is the Holy Bible, which includes the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Apocrypha in the middle. That's all you need. This dude want to tell you the Book of Mormon is part of our books. He going off. The Nag Hammadi, right? The Kebra Negas. Now, I know I heard him personally say something about the damn Nag Hammadi. Okay? That Book of Mormon. And he talking about, and all you that want to read the Book of Enoch, Jasher, Jubilees, be my guest. You can do whatever you want to do. But when your ass get bugged out and when you get confused, don't come running to us. That's what we said when you get confused. And you will get confused. You don't need to try to read a whole new set of books that are not mentioned in 2nd Esdras 14, by the way. Because again, if you're saying that 2nd Esdras 14 is talking about all these other books, did that mean that Esdras wrote the damn the Nag Hammadi, the Book of Enoch, Jasher, Jubilees, and the Book of Enoch? And the Book of Mormon, excuse me. Is that what you're saying? Why you mentioning 2nd Esdras 14? It's got nothing to do with all them crazy ass books. You know, the books of Adam and Eve, the books of the Watchers and all this other shit. None of them was written by Esdras. So it's got nothing to do with that. Esdras didn't dictate the Book of Enoch. Anyway, moving past that. The next dumb thing this guy says is that we use Jacob's trouble, right? It's almost as if we coming in unison with the nations of Psalms 83. And y'all bear with me here real quick, because it's hot. All right, Salakia. All right, I want to continue on a bit here. So this dude says, to recap, Salakia, he making it seem like we using Jacob's trouble to give the nations a free pass. It's like we telling them they ain't got to pay for all the shit they did under us. So we use Jacob's trouble so as some type of delayed, you know, like they're going to be punished, you know, later or whatever he said. I don't know how he tried to say it. This dude don't know what's going on, man. Let's read here. This is Jeremiah 30. And first off, let's go here. Revelation 3 and 10. This is what he doesn't get, because he's not a prophet, so he don't know prophecy. This is Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. This time coincide with Jacob's trouble. It's often called the Great Tribulation, but we say Jacob's trouble. Sure, Jacob's going to be in trouble, but all the world going to get punished. These Edomites, these church people, they're going to be going through great tribulation too. The hour of temptation is when the mark of the beast is going to be offered. And this dude, he probably, if you ask him what the mark of the beast is, he probably he wouldn't know. Go to his channel, you probably won't see no videos dealing with the mark of the beast. I can almost guarantee you. But I haven't searched his channel, so I can't say for sure. But he ain't never been nobody that taught that, you know, going into the chip and whatnot. Anyway, during Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation is when you're going to be tempted to take the mark of the beast or not. Everybody going to go through that. The scriptures say all men, free and bond, rich and poor, right, going to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So everybody going to go through that. Us using Jacob's trouble, the churches don't say during that time 2/3 of our people going to be getting messed up. They don't talk about that. They do mention Jacob's trouble, but they try to equate it with the fake, you know, with them fake Jews, them Israelis, them Amalekites, the small hats, 1948ers. So as the scripture said, it's going to come upon all the world. And further than that, the Lord, Yahweh Shai, is going to end Jacob's trouble, and he's going to come and get us out of this place. Let's go there real quick. Matthew 24 and 29, is it? Let's just see. No, it's 21. Salakia. So this is what the Lord said. For then shall be great tribulation. Such was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So this dude tried to lie and say the remnant of the remnant is going to be the ones that get these other books, when the other books had nothing to do with 2nd Esdras 14, as he quoted, and we already proved it. And you can even go there and read it and see that Esdras ain't got nothing to do with them other crazy ass books. Now, the other writings that we don't have, like the real book of Enoch, we'll get those in the kingdom of heaven, man. But obviously it wasn't important for salvation because we don't have it. And here we are right in the middle of the Great Awakening. Just because you got a bunch of subscribers don't mean you a man of the Lord, dude. And you got a bunch of subscribers. This dude got 72,000 subscribers. And this video got 17,000 views on YouTube. I don't know how many it's got on TikTok, where I got this video from. But Esau is pushing this dude because I watched this video on TikTok, and lo and behold, this son of a bitch popped up in my feed on YouTube because Esau wants you to see it. Guerrilla Hebrew getting all fucked up. That ain't got nothing to do with the camps. That dude had his own camp. We've been rebuking his ass since he left GMS. Since before we kicked him out, and since he left, all we've been doing is rebuking that nigga. You trying to make it seem as though the church set the camps up so one leader could get took down one day, and that'll abandon the faith of everybody else. And the church, you know, the white man jumps out. Aha! That's fucking stupid. People left the ministry of the Lord, man. They left his camp. Do we need to prove that? Jeremiah 6, well, maybe we'll get to it, but let's finish this off. So the Lord talked about Jacob's trouble. Here he says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. See? So it's right there. Okay? It's right there. Now, at the end of it, verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. The chariots, the so-called UFOs, which this dude does not teach about. Okay? If I'm correct, this dude probably teach you to leave Babylon before the destruction or some shit like that. I can't really say for sure, but I know he don't teach about the UFOs, the so-called UFOs coming to beam up the elect. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet. Did we read all of this? Let's read this again. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And we tell you that this is going to end Jacob's trouble. The chariots going to come. They're going to be zapping Edomites, other nations, right? Babylon the Great, and 2/3 wicked Israelites as well with the laser beams. Only the elect is going to make it out of here. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. You see? And we tell you that is the end of the world. Ain't going to be no after that. We don't teach no rapture doctrine. The rapture doctrine says that the church or whoever going to vanish and disappear, then everybody else got to suffer for a period of time. We don't teach no shit like that. We say when the chariots come, if you don't get beamed up, that's your ass. And when the chariots come, they're going to be lighting fools on fire. The Lord is going to end our suffering. He's going to end Jacob's trouble, give us new bodies, and fuck up our enemies and take us out of this place. And the nuclear missiles going to come here and destroy it. So the church ain't tell us to teach the nuclear missiles going to come here and destroy their infrastructure. You got that wrong, cuz. Jeremiah 3 verse 7, the last for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who gonna be saved out of it? The elect of Jacob. What else? For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. You see that? So the Lord gonna break us out of this captivity, and in the end of it, he is going to destroy our enemies with the nuclear destruction from the chariots and from the nuclear missiles. I'm sorry, with the destruction from the chariots and from the nuclear missiles. Revelation 18 and 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. And see, so the Lord is going to avenge our blood on these people. The Lord comes, he ends Jacob's trouble. He saves the elect, just like you read in Matthew 24:29. Immediately after the tribulation, the Lord is going to come. He's going to set this place on fire. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. You see that? So the Lord is going to have that great millstone as representative of the nuclear destruction. Let's go there real quick if we can't get it. And then we got to close out. Revelation 16:16. It says that he gathered them into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, right? So the Lord is gathering the troops to fight over there in the Middle East now for our sake. World War III is going to happen because of the Israelites. Verse 19, and the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before the Most High, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath, and every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. You see that? And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent, and men blasphemed the Most High because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. So it's quite the opposite of what Big Judah said. He was going off. The church ain't set us up no kind of way. We prophesying against this place. Esau ain't got nothing to do with us. We prophesying against that devil. You just hurt because the Most High didn't choose you. You're not of the elect, Big Judah. And nice try with it, with accusing us about them other books. You was going off. Tell us what other books you think that Esdras wrote that's going to come in the last days that you can read now is going to lead to your salvation. Nice try, idiot. Hey, that's it, brothers. We'll see you soon with another lesson, Lord willing. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.